Feeling Pinkie Mean by Rainbowbob, Chapter 2 by the Spoonful. Oh, Sombra, I'm back! The vowel cry of annoying high-pitched noises had returned. Sombra winced on instinct.
I don't know whether to be happy or depressed,
he muttered, chin to the floor as he stared at the basement doors up the stairs, when he saw Pinkie descend to them with a bowl of ice cream, bouncing on her puffy-haired head. All the while grinning that insufferable smile of hers, he said,
Wait, no. The phrase I was thinking of was miserable or desolate. Both fit rather well.
"Aw, don't be such a grumpy pony," Pinkie replied, coming to a stop outside the cage and sitting. Her cheer-filled smile beamed down so radiantly, Sombra was sure he'd go blind from staring at it too long. Averting his gaze from her grin to the bowl atop her head, he licked his lips in eagerness at the sight of the delectable treat it contained. Delicious, sweet, and most importantly, tasty ice cream. Chocolate flavoured, he noticed. Even better. Grunting, he attempted to get closer to the bars of his cage by crawling forward.
Of course I'm going to be grumpy. I went from an all-powerful leader of an entire nation to a prisoner held captive by foolish mares. Also a prisoner who just so happens to want that ice cream you have there. Now hoof it over.
"Oh, this ice cream?" Pinkie asked, raising an eyebrow and looking up at the ice cream in question. Her hooves gingly took off the bowl headgear and hovered it close to the bars, close enough that Sombra could feel it chill on his face.
Why, you impudent? Yes, that one,
Sombra growled out in reply. "Well, this one right here?" Pinkie's grin grew.
Yes!
Sombra's eyes narrowed, set on the ice cream. The chocolate flavoured one? Pinkie gave the bowl a bounce on her hoof.
For the love of everything dear, yes!
Sombra stared bulge, the rest of him fighting to get free and claim what was his by right. Pinkie smiled at his impatience and took a seat at the bowl of ice cream held in between her legs, withdrawing a spoon from the bowl, overladen with the chocolate-induced delight. She scooped a good deal of it, holding the spoon bearing a mountain of ice cream forward, closer to the bars that separated Sombra and his treat. She said, "Do you know what you have to do to get it?"
If the answer is reforming, forget it,
Sombra said in contempt, scowling at the out-of-reach sugary delight.
No future desserts you pony possess would ever tempt me to do that. But it will keep me from destroying you. For a short while, so give it to me!
What you need to say is this magic word. The pink harlot taunted, a droplet of ice cream falling to the floor. Sombra's eyes hungrily flow in its descent.
What? There are no magic words to the arcane arts, you imbecile!
Sombra shouted, hopping forward so that his face was pressed against the bars.
Now give me that ice cream! Your king demands you to!
Shrugging, Pinkie withdrew the spoon bearing to the brim ice cream and ate it herself. She made sure to swirl it around her mouth and cover her lips with the treat and then lick it slowly off just to torture Sombra more with the show. Giving her lips one last lick, Pinkie tapped the spoon to her chin and said, "Sorry, Sombra, but name-calling isn't going to get you any ice cream. Being a nice stallion, however, will." Sombra laid silent for a few seconds, staring at Pinkie with a blank expression until he finally blurted out,
Did you just call me Sombra?
"Well, duh, of course I did." Pinkie rolled her eyes, scooping out some more ice cream, making it painfully slow just to torture Sombra some more. "I give every pony a nickname."
Well, knock it off. I am King Sombra, not some cheap knockoff name. You may also refer to me, Your Majesty, King of the Crystal Empire, Scourge of the Frozen North, Conqueror of the Crystal Mountains, Invader of the Badlands, Dark Unicorn of...
"Wow, and some ponies say I overdo it sometimes," Pinkie said with a chuckle, holding out another spoonful of ice cream to Sombra. "Just say please and you'll get all the ice cream you can want." Sombra stared at the spoon with a deadpan expression, lips set in a hard line with a scowl on his face.
I would rather be skinned alive than say that vile word,
Sombra said, still gazing as intently as ever at the spoon laden with the tantalising treat. "Then I guess you could just sit there as I eat the entire bowl," Pinkie said, returning the spoon back to her open mouth, with her tongue sticking out. "I don't know if I can even finish it all. I might have to throw you some out when I'm done." Pinkie's tongue lapped gently at the bottom of the spoon, moving ever so slowly to the top where the ice cream was at. Just as her tongue was about to touch the surface of the ice cream, Sombra called out,
Wait! Just stop!
Pinkie removed the spoon from her open mouth and arched an eyebrow. Yes, Sombra? Biting back a harsh retort at the use of that name again, he choked back his rage and hatred for a few moments.
Can you...
Please? Sombra coughed, unable to say that one word. Come on, Sombra, you're nearly there, Pinkie encouraged him eagerly, holding the spoon so close he could practically taste the cold chocolate melting in his mouth.
Please?
He managed to spit out, gulping in a breath of air, releasing so much air.
Give me some of that ice cream.
Why, of course I will, silly head, Pinkie Pie giggled, getting up and removing a key she stashed in her mane. I wouldn't seriously eat an entire bowl of ice cream in front of you without sharing. That'd be mean. Sombra's left eye twitched. Inserting the key into the lock of his cage, Pinkie Pie unlocked the cage door and opened it up. Sombra's eyes flared wide, immediately seeing his opportunity arrive at last. He jumped at the chance for freedom, then promptly tripped, crashing back to the ground on his stomach. The ropes binding his leg had been forgotten for a moment. Pinkie Pie smiled down at the still incapacitated ex-overlord, paying his failed getaway no mind. So, Twilight gave me the key saying I had responsibility over unlocking your cage whenever I wanted. Isn't that cool?
Wonderful,
He muttered, lower jaw racked with pain.
Can I have that ice cream now?
No, I was thinking I would spoon feed it to you.
Oh, even worse.
Sombra shouted, snarling at the bowl.
Do I look like some newborn foal to you?
Wait, wouldn't a foal be better than a pet? Pinkie asked, directing a question gaze to the bound king.
Shut up and untie me already,
Sombra demanded, getting angsty for the ice cream that he had gone far too long without. Pinkie crossed her forelegs while standing on her back hooves, a cross expression on her face that was the opposite of her usual jolly look. Being rude won't get you any ice cream, Sombra. It's either spoon feeding or nothing. Sombra stared at the bowl, and then at Pinkie, then at the bowl, then right back at Pinkie, then returning back to the bowl as he mulled over his thoughts.
Fine,
he muttered, too eager for the long-awaited ice cream to waste more time arguing with an empty-headed mare.
Spoon feed it to me. But breathe one word of this to any pony else, and I'll be sure to hunt you down and make you pay myself.
That's the spirit, Pinkie said, sitting next to the king and lifting him so he sat in much the same position as she did. Holding him with one hoof on his shoulder, she scooched the bowl between them both and scooped some ice cream with the spoon. Smiling, she brought it to Sombra's lips. Choo-choo! Here comes the train! Chicka-chicka-chicka-chicka-chicka-chicka! Choo-choo! Pinkie jingled, moving her hoof with the spoon in a manner similar to a locomotive. Sombra stared at Pinkie from the corner of his eye as if she were a madmare. Quietly before the ice cream reached him, he asked,
What in Tartarus' name is wrong with you?
It's a choo-choo train, Pinkie explained, making the chugging noises again as the spoon approached Sombra's lips. It's about to make a stop in your mouth and disembark the passengers into your taste buds. Her grin was earnest and oblivious to his incredulity.
I don't even know what a train is,
Sombra admitted, muttering. Restless to receive the frozen delight he went through so much trouble for, he decided to ignore the oddness of the other pony.
Just give me the ice cream.
What's the magic?
I will poke your eye out with my horn at our current closeness if you try to make me say that word once more.
Pinkie backed her face up, a bit rather a lot like her neck stretching like with a rubber-like intensity as she attempted to keep her smile going. Okay then, I think you deserve some ice cream now. Without another word, Pinkie stuffed the first spoonful of ice cream into Sombra's mouth. The king wasted no time swallowing it down and sighing in content at its arrival finally. This was followed by another spoonful, and another, Pinkie desperately spooning in the ice cream to keep Sombra content. The king was ravenous, devouring the ice cream the moment it touched his lips, lost to the divine flavour like never before. Pinkie could barely keep up with Sombra's demands for more. Unfortunately for Sombra, one of the most important lessons of eating ice cream finally reared its ugly head in picture. Brain freeze. A particularly bad one at that. Ah! He cried out in agony, falling on his back as his eyes bulged wide and his tongue stood out like a dog panting.
What sorcery is this?
He shouted, rolling on the ground as his brain was put through one of the most painful experiences he had ever confronted. It made his head hurt like no tomorrow, and all he wanted to do was crawl in a corner and hold himself in a fetal position to wait out the pain. Unluckily for him, that wasn't an option.
You foul witch! Tricking me with ice cream and then casting a spell when I wasn't looking. I see you for the black-hearted heathen you truly are.
But I'm not a unicorn, Pinkie pointed out, lifting the bowl so Sombra's rolling tied-up form wouldn't knock it down.
I shall bury you beneath the bodies of your friends. Your home and livelihood shall burn to the ground. I shall become your nightmare, the greatest fear, as I slowly make your life as miserable as possible. You shall rule this day. Pinkie, rue it, I say.
Sombra blinked, ending his struggles against the rope bindings as the moment of clarity overtook him.
Oh, wait, the pain is gone.
Yeah, you big meanie head, Pinkie said, frowning at the king and pointed at the spoon at him accusingly. That's what happens when you eat too much ice cream too fast. A brain freeze. This is all your fault.
Technically, some fault does fall on you for shoveling the ice cream into my mouth in the first place,
Sombra pointed out, feeling rather foolish for his foolish outburst. Well then, I guess I shouldn't feed you anymore. Pinkie got back onto all fours and picked the bowl of the remaining ice cream up to place atop her head. If you're going to behave like this, then you can get your own ice cream.
How am I supposed to get anything when you slack-jawed morons have me tied up in a cage? He asked. And before you answer my question, it was rhetorical.
Then I'm guessing you won't mind eating out of the bowl then, Pinkie asked, setting it within his reach, since this is something you can get.
I'd much prefer you feed it to me, like a proper servant for their king,
he replied back in a bitter tone, staring at the bowl with anticipation.
Be thankful I'm letting you feed me at all. Many other simpletons would jump at the opportunity to serve their king.
Have fun then, Pinkie whisked her tail in annoyance, turning her back to the stallion and trotting out of the cage. I have to go back to Sugar Cube Corner anyways to bake some cookies for Mrs. Cake. When I get them back, when you're in a better mood, I might just give you some.
Burn in Tartarus!
Sombra spat back at the mare. Pinkie frowned, then relocked his cage, leaving him alone with just a half-empty bowl of ice cream. Fine. It was double chocolate chip cookies, by the way, too. Groaning under his breath, Sombra attempted to fight back the temptation. The king always did have a weakness for his sweet tooth. While nothing quite competed with the taste of the exquisite crystals in his home of the Crystal Empire, the chocolate that Twilight had introduced him to had completely hooked. Gritting his teeth, he muttered,
I promise I won't insult you for some cookies.
Pinkie's ears perked up in surprise, and she turned back to face him, grinning. See, we're making progress already, she cheered, clopping her front hooves together excitedly. Sombra wanted more than anything to beat that stupid smirk off her face.
I'll destroy you and this entire town until only dust is left, he whispered.
Pinkie scowled upon hearing that. What did you say, Sombra? She intoned warningly. Sombra blinked and bit his lip.
I said, bring some milk too if you're able.
Okie dokie dokie. Making her way to the stairs, she noticed the light bulb switch swinging from the ceiling. Glancing over her shoulder at the tied-up king trying to lick from the bowl, she asked, Hey, do you want the lights on or off? Sombra scowled from his position of pathetically lapping at chocolate ice cream.
I've spent 1,000 years trapped in pitch black darkness without 1 inch of light. What do you think I prefer by now?
Frowning, Pinkie pulled down the switch to send the basement back into darkness. Climbing up the stairs carefully to avoid tripping down them because of the lack of light. She finally reached the top and looked back. All she could make out was Sombra's green, glowing eyes staring back up at her with bitter hatred. Yeah, have a nice time, she mumbled, unsure what to say next.
Oh, once you're gone, I'll be sure to,
he replied back with contempt, glaring at her to leave him be. Opening the door, Pinkie departed and left Sombra in a position he'd been used to for nearly 1,000 years, trapped in the shadows with no hope of escape and not a living soul for company.
Well, at least I have ice cream,
he reflected, feeling somewhat comforted by this fact.
And she's finally gone. Oh, so things aren't so bad. Beats 1,000 years of banishment, that's for sure. Yeah, not so bad.